ICT Functional Skills, Excel Functions, a brief look. Topics you will need to know: sum and average, count and counter, if, SUMIF, and a VLOOKUP. Okay, so this tutorial isn't meant to be an in-depth look at any one specific function. It highlights the functions you need to know for the exam. So if you already have a good Excel knowledge, this will remind you of some of the basics, and just to let you know what you need to know for the exam. For those with less Excel knowledge, you'll need to return to some more in-depth tutorials, but you may find the following tutorial a good insight to the basics of functions and the things you'll need to look into. The functions are normally found in the auto sum for the simple sum, the drop down for the other basic ones which just require a range, and more functions allows you to search for the other functions. You can also go to the formulas up here, but the functions are broken down by their type, and again you can see auto sum, or you can search for the function here. Now the first function we're going to look at is the sum, and you can see it's equals sum, and then its arguments in brackets. It only has one argument, and these are range or ranges separated by comma in which to sum, in this case C3 to C17. It's given me the total of those values. The next one works in the same way, average. Now this is a type of average which adds up all the values and divides them by the amount of values in that range. And you can see it just requires a range, or again ranges separated by comma. The next one is count. Again works in the same way, and it allows me to see the number of instances. So in this case, within this range, the amount of purchases these companies made. Okay, so if a client's listed and they didn't make a purchase, then that client hasn't been counted. So within these 15 clients, 13 made a purchase. In some instances, you may wish to count something where it's not a number. In this case, you use counter, and basically counts where those cells aren't blank. So in this case, I've used E, and within that range, there's only 3 items, so there's only 3 where it's not blank. Okay, so the sum if. Maybe it's best if I look at if first, because it's going to be a combination of the sum function plus the if function. So if we look at if just over here, you can see in this instance, for if to work, you need to have a criteria. And depending on whether the cells, in this case C3, meet that criteria, is C3 greater than 35,000? It's not. So what you want to return if it's true, and what you want to return if it's false. And you see I get an N, a no, because it is false, and 10,000 is less than 35,000. In this instance, it isn't just a summary function. I would need to drag it down for each value. Okay, so we said if checks a cell with a criteria and returns a certain value, which could be another function, so like to sum something, and then a value if false. Okay, and these can be expanded, so the criteria can be expanded using an AND or an OR function to allow for more criteria, and you can have multiple ifs to check various things as well. This can be used in quite advanced ways. So then returning back to the SUMIF, this is going to check to see if the values in D match the criteria UK, and when they match the criteria in UK, count those specific cells in C. So in this case, when it finds UK, you're going to count this. Because France isn't here, you're not going to sum this value. So you're only going to sum the values if there's a UK here. And that's quite useful to sum something based upon a criteria. In a similar way, sometimes the range that you're checking may be the same range that you're going to sum. So in this case, I've checked these values. I only want to sum them when they're greater than 35,000. So it's slightly different. This SUMIF checks one range, does it meet its condition, then sums another range, this sum is checking this range and will sum this range accordingly. Okay, lastly, I just mentioned the VLOOKUP. This is quite a common one. Basically, the VLOOKUP is also related to lookup and HLOOKUP, but specifically the VLOOKUP, it looks for the value. In this case, it wants to look for client 11. Then you see it's separated by a comma, so the next part is within this range. You see I've selected it here. Separated by another column, so what's the column index? Once it's found client 11, where's the thing it wants to return? And it's in the third column of that set range. So 1, 2, 3. So it finds client 11, it wants to return Italy. So that's the third thing along. And then a 0 or not, basically saying is it an exact match, so false, or a near match, true. And a near match true could be useful if you're giving somebody a bonus. They wouldn't fall within a set value, they would normally fall between a range of values, and that's when you'd use true. Okay, so that's just a very basic look at the functions you really need to know and be aware of for the exam. Don't let these scare you. With good practice, you can learn them and pick them up quite quickly. Practice task. Open a new Excel workbook. Explore the covered Excel functions by clicking the Formulas tab and Insert function. Type the function name and click Go. Read the description and click OK to view the function arguments. When you click in each argument box, Excel provides more information below.